Okay, hi everyone. It's like 8:35 now, so we'll go ahead and get started. Some announcements. Today is the ad deadline for courses. So if you want to take this course for credit, 2 credits on you need to sign up on Student Center. And yeah, it's a pass-fail class, so we encourage that you do sign up. And then also one more thing, our first assignment is due on Sunday, 11:59. So a bit of feedback from last lecture. We had some questions about where you should put state variables, and usually you want to put them in the top level of the code, so like not inside like a column or inside some like other component. You'll want to put it like kind of outside your UI components. Um, yeah, so you want to keep the components state free. And so when the state changes, the components will recompose on their own. That's kind of their property. And then in week 3, we'll go over more cases that you'll see this happen in. And then in week 4 and 5, we'll use like new data structures to handle these states. Okay, so today our demo is going to be making a to-do list. So we've kind of broken it up into 2 steps this time. So for the first half, you'll work on steps 1 through 4 in the demo, which are going to be like the to-do list title and then all the way through the button. And then I'll walk through it with you guys so that you can like, we can all be on the same page. And then we'll go ahead and then work on the component and the lazy list part. And so like the tips are the same as last week. You want to ask questions and look at our hints in the handout. Yeah, so you can go ahead and get started on that. It'll be in the textbook under week 2, um, and the demo page. Yeah.
For the point on state of, is that top level of your code, so outside of functions as well, or?
So you usually have like a function, like a composable to kind of like where you're writing all your code in. So you'll like, that's the one where you start with like a fun and then like some name. So you want to keep it within that level, but you want to keep it outside of like UI components like columns or like text boxes or things like that. Mhm.
Well, I didn't start with like text because they make us so yeah, so like yeah, I was thinking that for these but what functions they call and whatnot, demo one like code straight out all of them. Like I don't know if this is something particularly useful. You have a demo code for like documents. Say that I think we released it on, or it might be in the film.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and referencing that code would be really good. You can see like how, like what values columns. So, so this is the entire demo. Yeah, it's you could get this on Android Studio, or I guess if you're pulling it up, you can trust.
No mind, no trust.
That makes sense. That makes sense. How do you follow? So like referencing this. Good way to start. Actually building the design. Well, not certainly not the exact same, but if you read the handout, see it like, oh, use a column, that do stuff. This other shows you like, oh, it makes a column, and stuff is a column. Yeah. We want to build to yeah, that's all. But it's red, right? Yeah. You know, that one. Oh, don't write it. Then like roll over. It's like you'll want to do that for like everything that turns up red. Yeah, yeah. Like I think it's stuff that we plug in the so that is specific to that you want to see it. That's specific thing. For that example, it has the potential of the home that was makes it yeah. So I guess did us. That's we want to this.
Oh, like this. So
then any UI that you have to put into it will now like appear. So if for example you have like a stream text, it's like as a text or that's just a string value that will do something.
You can use like.
Yeah, text like actual function is that's a few items that'll actually render. As opposed to just a string value. It's just a copy.
We do it already.
Yes, that's actually yeah, true.
So that'll also. So that's what.
Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes. Does anyone want more time to work on it, or are we good to, or can I get a show of hands if you'd like a little more time? Okay. Okay, so in the interest of time, we're gonna go ahead and do like this first demo. So to start, I'm gonna like make the new file, the to-do screen file. And we're gonna make a composable to start. Yeah. So the first thing we want to do is make the column because we want all of our kind of components to stack on top of each other. Um, Statements are annoying. Okay. And some initial modifiers just for the UI. We want to have this column fill up the entire like screen. So we use fill max size. And we also want a little bit of padding on the edges. So you can choose some number like 16. And then for alignments purposes, we can do like horizontal alignment, center horizontally, and we'll also center it vertically. So vertical alignment or vertical arrangement. And center. Yeah, so the first thing or the first component we're making, I guess, is the text component that says my to-do list. This is like your standard text component. The imports. And then, yeah, my to-do list. To get the like font size, one of the arguments will come up. Font size 36.sp. Yeah, we'll throw a spacer in there. And the spacer, again, its argument is gonna like its height comes from the modifier argument. So you want to do modifier heights, and this will be 30 dp. Right. Yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I think this is okay. Does anyone have questions at this point? Okay. So the text field is a little trickier. Has a lot of arguments that we want to use. So as yeah, to start, let's make like the variable that will store the text field value in. So kind of from the demo notes, new to do. And yeah, this is just syntax that you'll like kind of get used to as you like use it more. Yeah, you'll just start remembering it. So whenever there's like red lines, just keep importing. All right. So value, we want to set this to the new to do. That's where we'll be like kind of keeping track of this. Like, and the placeholder is kind of what's showing up when you don't have any value like written inside your text box or your text field. And you can just pick whatever you want for this, but we'll be using new to do. And then there's an on value changed, on value change, and this is going to be a lambda. So, oh, wait, let's go back to the placeholder really quick. So this syntax is a little weird. You want to also put it inside a lambda function. So it's the lambda functions are just like the curly braces. And it's going to be a component actually. Um,
You can delete the curly braces.
oh, really? Okay.
It's like
Oh, okay.
whatever, don't worry. For specific.
Okay, so then on value change, so for the text field, we want to continually be updating the new to do, like our value of what we're storing in the text field. This is kind of like the demo from the lecture. So we'll just say it's a lambda function again. So we'll kind of name whatever we have in the text field right now. We'll want to set that equal to, or set our variable equal to that value. So again, basically what's happening is that we're continually updating this like new to do variable. Okay, maybe another argument?
Otherwise, give you the red. What happens if
Yeah, I
you
don't know.
Great, you're like text field is. I think it's just a build thing. I think if you rebuild.
Okay, fine. And then one more thing that we need to add. Over the text. What is it? Okay, yeah.
You have like text field something highlighted green. I think it's just.
Oh, is it an import thing?
I think you have the right import.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my ID's been being weird too. Sorry, guys. Okay,
See after.
Yeah.
That looks fine.
okay. Any questions on this? Sorry, it's a little finicky. Okay. So next we want to build a button, and our button's gonna kind of store or like add the current new to-do to a list of to-dos so that we can display it later. So I guess we can start by building or defining this list. So we'll call it to-do list. And this syntax is slightly different just because we don't necessarily need to update the to-do list itself every time, since like the list type is already mutable on its own. So we can use mutable state list of, and this is going to want a type. So it'll be of type string. Do our imports. Okay. And so our button. Okay, now the button is going to take an on-click argument, which is going to be its like basic functionality, what we want it to do when we click it. And so we want to take the to-do, the current new to-do value, and we want to add it to the to-do list. So like lists have a function called add that you can just use. Throw the new to-do in there as like its argument, and then it'll add it to the list. Yeah. And then buttons are going to have a text within its body that'll define like what the button is actually like saying, or its like label. So that'll be add to do for this case. And yeah, if we try building this.
Let's complain. You can like type that was old string half the time.
Mm.
Well, it couldn't happen. Yeah, what's that saying? Oh, I see.
Okay.
Wait. Okay.
Oh,
wait.
okay. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had those brackets before, they're like.
Yeah, I was yelling at me. Okay. Oh, shoot, I forgot to call it in here. All right, so when you use your main function activity to like call your screen, you can get rid of the starter code that they give you. And then we'll just call it to-do screen. Yep. And type in here. Oh, and one more function on the button. So we want to clear the list or clear the contents of the text field after we're like done submitting a to-do. So we can just do like, we set our new to-do value back to empty string. Yeah, and that should be it. So does anyone have questions on this part of the demo? Okay. If not, we can go ahead and move on to the second part. Um, it'll probably be around 10 minutes just so we have enough time to like run through it at the end. So yeah, the second part will be like building the to-do card and then putting that inside the lazy list.
No. It doesn't grow up weird, but it's not important. It's sometimes like the import doesn't. We kind of try to actually see this stuff. Yeah. Oh, sometimes it just. The braces after the. Just around. I know. Yeah. I everything else is like into the body of the column. So like literally, it's like there's supposed to be an import for the import, but it's a list for like items. What is that import? Because there's a specific number. Sometimes it like can auto complete and sometimes it really just doesn't. Copy this. Obviously, like this. That's like yeah, you know. Small thing. Such just like it is PPFC. So it's gonna be. It's just like so stupid. It's like one of the few things that was just like failed. Yeah, that's what it's almost. Oh wait, are they using Java dates? Is that okay? It's like, is it like what expense stuff? It just. Oh, this is a home test. Oops. Yeah, so you usually don't need to create. Yeah. Show you. Yeah, you can just. Is there anything like against like using Java things? Oh no. Java like classes, especially for like dates and stuff, are like super useful. So sometimes you can come right with that. You can just convert that. Dates supposed to be so one thing for you can just convert that to a JSON. I notice it's a bar as well as before you about it, random user trade things like that instead of the bar.
I was getting at the timing that is like, this is the time of like the background color change. Like, it won't look the same, like, you can see a difference there, yeah. So it's like kind of. So if you go all the way to that. Oh.
Stuff like that, so so even if everything's like super stuff.
Okay, let's go ahead and do the walkthrough for the second part now. Yeah, so we want to start by defining our new composable for our component. And it's going to be called ToDoCard. So since we're wanting to pass in a value to like kind of display in each of these cards, we're going to want to take up an argument for this composable, and that's going to be, we can call it anything, but a to do, and it'll be of type string. And then as for this structure, we're going to use a row. Really, you could use like anything here. I guess like a column or like a box could also work, just because the contents are so simple. And we're going to want to have some padding on that. So we'll fill the max width. Oh. And then we'll also fill or add some padding. Um, and then, yeah, so we want to make the shape of the card rounded, or it's like rounded corners. So that's going to be the background. Shape, rounded corner, and 12 dp on those edges. And then we're also going to want a color. We're going to change the color to a light gray. And so like these are like the colors that are kind of defined for you already with the color class. Import. All right. And then within our row, we're going to have some text. And that's going to be the string that we're passing in. So to do. All right. So if we want to make a preview for this really quick, just so that we can like check that it looks about right. It's also a composable. And then we're going to want to call it like a private function, just because we only want to call the previews within like their own screen file. Give it like a good name, to-do card preview. And then we can call the to-do card. Oops. Okay. Then we can go ahead and look. So if we notice one thing, the padding is off. I think it was mentioned in the handout as well, but like the padding, the positioning of your padding and like the order of your arguments will sometimes matter. So in this case, if we're defining the padding before we define the color won't apply to like the areas of the padding that we define. So we always want to like put the padding below the background or color just so that we can make sure that's kind of included. Yeah. And that looks about right. So next we'll move back to the to-do screen composable, and we're going to want to make that lazy column. And within the lazy column, we also want modifier to fill the max width. And then we can also go ahead and put a bit of alignment on that. Or I guess in this case, so we want to make sure that we have some padding between each individual card that we're displaying within the lazy column. And the way to do that is going to be vertical arrangement. And there's a arrangement dot spaced by. And here you can kind of just choose however much you want to put in between each card. We can say like 10 dp. Yeah. And then, so in terms of like kind of displaying each card within your lazy column, the syntax is going to be like an items like keyword. And you're going to put like, it takes in a list of like what you're trying to display. So in this case, that's going to be our to-do list. And I might have to play around with the imports later. But so with the like the lambda functions here, again, it's kind of like implicitly like iterating through every item in your to-do list. So we can call like to do and then put that within our to do card. Okay, so here like the to do is kind of arbitrary. Like you can call it anything. Another way to do this without the to do would be to like use it, which is a keyword. And so like it is kind of just like it's like every single item within your to do list. Um, so we fixed the imports. We want to use a list. So to-do list, and then, yeah, so we can say to-do to-do card. Yeah. And then that should be about right. If we try running this. Oh, another thing we need to set here is the height of the to-do list, but we can like look at it first to see what it looks like now. So if we put in some to-do, it'll be added to your list, like laundry and like grocery. Yeah, so like the padding's there as you can see, and like everything's showing up. So you'll notice that you can't scroll it yet. That's because we don't have enough like kind of on the screen yet for it to be able to like cycle off the screen so that you can scroll through it. One way to kind of put more definitive like parameters on like how much you can scroll is to give this lazy column a height. So if we set that to like 200 dp, then we're kind of limiting where our or how far our like to-do cards can kind of appear on the screen. So to do homework. Or I guess we can do empty ones as well. And then again. Yeah, so now you can see like you can scroll through them. And yeah, so there's like a lot of ways you can play around with that. Yes, question.
Items ever.
Oh yeah. So that was an import error. The thing about like these is there's like a lot of different versions of like what you're importing. So you want to make sure like I guess like when I started, like I know that I want to use my argument is a list. So when I'm typing in items and you see like the little box pop up with your different imports, you want to kind of look for the one that matches like your arguments. So like that'll like speed up the process for you. Yeah. There any other questions? Okay, yeah. So I think that should be like all for today's. We're a little over time, but yeah, feel free to stay after if you have any more questions. Sorry about like the first half being a little wonky with the imports as well. And we have the attendance QR code here.